Hello and welcome to the Week 12 preview episode of the Jefferson My Drinks Fantasy Podcast, the pod on a mission to normalise 8-team leagues. I'm Pete McManus and I'm joined by Ian Harrison. It's a two-man show again.
I know, yeah, H is busy with some overtime at work, very busy man. So, two of us again.
Which, at this point, I'm going to say, if you're not already following us on socials and telling all your friends about it, please can you do that so that we don't have to do normal jobs? Just think how much great podcast content we could put out if we didn't actually have to do jobs as well. So follow us at JMD Pod. Spread the love. We only need a couple of million more followers and we'll be there.
Yeah. Could this week be the week? We need to get to 1 million followers. Can this week be the week?
Once we get to 1 million, Ian will do it in his pants in Gary Lineker style.
Why not?
For anybody who wants to see that. So H isn't with us. We went a bit off the rails last week when you weren't here, Ian. The first quarter lasted for 27 minutes or something ridiculous, but we did pull it back.
I noticed that. My OCD, because I watched it back and my OCD was through the roof.
I think we'll be better. I think we'll be better. It was partly my fault for coming up with a sort of mild feature idea that I knew H would not be able to stop talking about. So I don't know why I did it. So you missed last week. I think we all missed the week before.
Yes.
Which means you haven't had a chance to rant about the Bengals for about 3 weeks. So that feels like we can move on. We can gloss over it if you want, but it feels like with all the Ja'Marr Chase stuff, it feels like we should start with the Bengals.
Yeah, it's fair enough. He definitely didn't do it. Free number one. I stand with Ja'Marr. And I've just mentioned to you before we started recording, he's actually had the balls to go and appeal it, which I think is mental. And I'm sure I think he's just doing it for a laugh because it's his right as a player to appeal it. And the worst that can happen to him is that they just uphold it. They can't actually make the punishment worse. All they can do is just uphold the original punishment. So he's just chancing his arm, which
that was going to be my next question: is can they turn this into a 2? Because there'll be fantasy players out there all over going, just leave it. It's bad enough that you're out this week. Just leave it now.
But he's the worst that can happen is that just uphold the original ban. So you might as well appeal it, but it is very, very clear that he did it.
Yeah, It's almost as if he doesn't understand that there's cameras on him. So all of the time, there's lots of cameras on him, especially in a game like that. But
yeah, I mean, I don't know what kind of level of game intelligence Ja'Marr Chase has, but maybe he was just desperate to win that one game. He thought there's no way they'll boot him off for this game, but if I can get rid of Jalen Ramsey, then we're in with a chance, and then I'll deal with the consequences later. I don't know whether it goes that deep, or whether it just thought, if they send me off, if they kick me off, they're kicking me off.
I think Jalen Ramsey just got in his head a bit and was winding him up. And I think in that situation, if the Steelers are whatever the Steelers are, 500 because they're always 500, and you've had a good year and you're sat there at 7-3, I don't think Ja'Marr Chase reacts. I think he just plays his game and gets the better of him, but. He's everybody related to the Bengals has come into the season with a lot higher hopes than you've achieved, and I think he's probably just frustrated at this point. So,
yeah, massively, he will be, and he vented his frustrations the other week when RD couldn't get a stop. Yeah, and the irony is RD didn't actually play too badly this week, other than being completely unable to even stand in front of Darnell Washington and try and take him down.
So I don't understand all of the rules to the NFL, clearly. I'm not sure anybody does. But the one where he's running down the sideline, just lowering his helmet and smashing people out of the way, is that not what people get fined for on a weekly basis?
Well, when he lowers his helmet, he's still 7'4". I mean,
he is a giant.
He'd have to be on his hands and knees for it to probably count as lowering the head. I
The
don't
only
know what
thing
happened.
the only thing that surprises me is it's taken them whatever 2.5 years to start using him in the Steelers, because he's had a couple of plays over the years, but it's only the last few weeks that it seems like actually we've got a player here, and
Yeah,
he's the most Steelers player of all time. So
I
he's
know,
just
and
bigger and angrier.
he is terrifying.
Yeah. So it's stuff like that I'll never understand. Like I'm pretty sure stood next to any NFL player, I'd look tiny, and then they stand next to like the random one that comes across that's like 6'7" or whatever he is. He's even taller than that, I think, isn't he? And he's just, and then everybody else looks tiny compared to him. It's just nuts. So
No, he's bonkers.
freak of nature. So is Zach Taylor gone at the end of the year?
If not before, because we've got a run of games now where we're playing the Patriots without Jamar Chase, then we've got the Bills, and we've got the Ravens, then we've got the Lions, then we've got the Ravens again. Like we're going to lose the next 5. There's no way he can keep his job.
Yeah. I think he should have gone after the Jets game a few weeks ago.
I was calling for it, and I was calling for it. I wanted him gone weeks ago.
Yeah.
I wanted him and Al Golden frog marched out the building, took out the back, and executed.
Yeah, I just think, and I said it to you at the time, when you scored the go-ahead score, I think it was a go-ahead score, to, I can't remember, it was a few weeks ago, and left like 38 seconds on the clock. I think I messaged you at the time and go, well, that was stupid. And
Yeah.
I know you'd scored like 40 points or whatever, and it should be on the defense to make a stop, but I just think, did you see the Patriots last week against the Bucks take a knee? Before they were on like the 1 yard line, and they basically took a knee. So it wasn't this weekend just gone, it was the week before. They took a knee on like 2nd down, I think it was, to basically kill 40 seconds before they scored, which takes some guts because you've then obviously got to
You might not score.
Yeah, but it was almost as if I don't want to leave too much time. There's no point scoring and leaving too much time on the clock. And I was like, it's a bold move, but sometimes if you know your defense isn't very good, which, I mean, the Patriots is a lot better than the Bengals, but if you know your defense isn't very good and you can only win on offense, you can't score and leave 40 seconds on the board.
Yeah, I think a lot of that was like, well, we'll give him 38 seconds because there's no way Caleb's going to get enough yards to put them in field goal range. Plus, the Bears kicker isn't that great to begin with, so and no one thought that Jordan Battle had completely whiff a tackle on Colston Loveland.
Yeah, it's just not being very good.
No, it's mainly been RD, but our offense was bad this week.
Hopefully, a bounce back this week. Patriots. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I'm not banking on it, but yeah, I remain hopeful.
In other news, the Chiefs are 5-5. We talked a bit about the Chiefs last week, but I think are they in danger of missing the playoffs? When you look at their schedule, I kind of look at it and go, they've got 6 games left. They're probably going to win 4 of them. In fact, they might even have 7 games left at this point. I think they're going to win 5 of them easily. Like that, it's not a difficult schedule, but they keep coming up with when it's close, they're losing this year. Whereas when it was close last year, they were winning them all.
I think they still make the playoffs. I was thinking about this today. I think the Chargers and the Broncos are essentially the Arsenal and Tottenham of the NFL, whereas they are just perpetual bottlers. Like every year we do this and we have a chat and we're like, right, the Chiefs made the playoffs last year. They won the Super Bowl. They got to the Super Bowl. Can they win the division? And we go, no, we think it's the Chargers' year. And the Chargers just find a way every year to completely ruin it for themselves.
Yeah, I don't think there's any chance the Chiefs win the division at this point. But they're too far behind now. And I was looking at the Broncos schedule earlier, and they've still got to play the Raiders. They've still got to play the Jags. They're playing the Commanders this week. I was just like, or next week. They might be on bye this week. So I was like, the next 2 are very winnable, and that gets them to 11 wins. And I was like, that pretty much puts them.
There's been a lot of noise this week about the Broncos and the Patriots as well, really. about their strength of schedule and who they got left to play, and
Yeah.
they probably got the easiest run to winning a division out of any other team. But I just think the Chiefs will get a wild card spot somehow.
Yeah. And do you remember when they didn't, I think they won the division because they won it like 10 times straight or whatever. But a couple of years ago when they had to go to Buffalo, it was the only time that they hadn't got the one seed, and everyone was like, oh, this will be different. And then they went to Buffalo and smashed them. And then they went on a run and won the Super Bowl, and it was like, oh, maybe they just need to come good at the right time, which is kind of what I think about the Ravens this year. Like, the Ravens have started badly, and you won't want to hear this as an AFC North competitor, but I wonder whether this might be the year that the Ravens actually just get better as the year goes on and get better at the right time. Like, they're still going to win that division despite the fact that they started badly. And so therefore they're going to have home advantage in the divisional game or in the wildcard round, sorry. And then if they then kind of like just keep getting better as the season goes on, maybe this is the Ravens year.
Yeah, potentially. And for the Ravens, they might have got all their injuries out the way early.
Yeah.
So it doesn't impact them as, you can get injured at any time, can't you? But, if you think of an average amount of players that get injured, the Ravens have probably had the worst lot of it, and hopefully they can keep everyone fit and make a run through the playoffs.
So I was watching Cowboys Raiders last night, technically this morning, because I didn't get up to watch it last night. I was watching that back this morning. And I'm sat there, and obviously I'm enjoying the Cowboys because I've got Dak in about 5 different fantasy leagues. I've got CD Lamb in more than that. I've even got Pickens in quite a few, and so I enjoyed it a lot. But I was sat there watching it, thinking, I think the Raiders might be the worst team in football, which is quite a call. But they're terrible. They're really, really bad.
They are really, really bad. But that is a bold call.
Who's worse than them, though?
Oh, the Falcons? Potentially us? The Browns, definitely. The Browns for sure.
The Browns defense, it makes them a better team than the Raiders, I think.
Yeah.
Which was the other thing I was thinking about today. So we paid 2 firsts for Sauce Gardner. And I get there's an age thing and there's a contract thing into what I'm about to say. But if we were going to give up 2 firsts to go and get a defensive player, would we have not been better going and getting Myles Garrett?
Is that what he would have cost you?
I don't think he costs any more than that at his age and the level of his contract. I don't know whether the Browns accept that. But what are the Browns doing at this point with Myles Garrett other than wasting his career?
That is true. And I don't have your cap space to hand. Could you pay him?
Probably we don't
if
pay
you
anybody.
Wanted to. But then if you pay Myles Garrett, is that going to stop you from paying Daniel Jones next year?
We'll get Daniel Jones on the cheap. He's just lucky to be there.
Oh yeah, because every day's a gift.
Well, when Daniel Jones has his Sam Darnold like wildcard weekend meltdown, his price will cut in half, and then we'll get him back again. So it'll be fine.
Oh, so you're not banking on a buy for the wildcard round?
I'm not when I've seen some of the schedules of the other teams. No, I was like I've seen the Broncos schedule, and I've seen the Patriots schedule, and I don't think we're getting the 1 seed anymore. We'll still win the division comfortably, and hopefully get 3rd seed, I think. But yeah, we've got some tough games coming up, and those 2 teams have not got any tough games coming up, or have got minimal tough games, especially the Patriots, which you've already mentioned. I think the Patriots have still got to play the Dolphins, the Jets, and possibly the Raiders. I think they've got. They've still got to play the Bills
and us, without Ja'Marr Chase.
So I think I looked at those and I was like, they're going to be at least a touchdown favorite in 4 of the 6 games they've got left. So the Patriots are going to get to probably 13, maybe 14 wins on the season. Yeah, that was my thoughts this morning. I think the Raiders might be the worst team, and if not, they're not worst team. They're definitely the most disappointing in terms of where.
It doesn't help that they are missing pretty much an entire O-line.
No,
I think
but I just
they
don't
had
think.
they had 2 undrafted free agents starting for them last night, which makes a massive difference.
Yeah, it does. While we're on the subject of the Raiders, before we move on, and we should do this as an exercise at the end of the season, if you went back and did your rookie draft now and you had the number 1 overall pick, would you still go with Ashton Jensen?
Redraft or dynasty?
Dynasty. Ooh, there's one to think about. You'd still go with Jensen.
Yeah, I probably would have done. Maybe Trevion Henderson instead.
How about Igbuka?
See, I'm an RB kid.
Let us know in the comments. We'll do that as an exercise.
Yeah.
But let us know at the end of the season. We'll go back and we'll redo the first round. But let us know in the comments whether you'd stick with Jensen or you go with someone else. Fantasy game day. So H isn't here to tell us how we got on, but as I haven't heard him going on about it, I'm guessing we didn't win.
No. Yeah, we could assume.
We could assume. So I gave him, frustratingly, I gave him Jaylen Warren as the captain. And the only reason that frustrates me is I told him on the pod, because we recorded before the captain's prices came out, that I was between Bijan and Warren, and I just thought Bijan was a little bit more expensive. And to be fair, he did then moan about how expensive Warren was and he couldn't build a team around. He probably wouldn't have been able to build a team with Bijan, but Bijan had a big game, and I should have stuck with my initial thoughts. But Warren had an okay game before he went out injured. Probably not enough to get us into the points. You know, when he was talking about Davis Mills, the quarterback, and all sorts. So we can just assume that H has messed that up.
Yes, it did not work.
Yeah, and it's his turn to pick captain, so we'll stick that on socials later in the week. Selection nightmares.
Yeah, so we've not got one from H, have we? But
no,
me and you have both got one. So let me get.
While you're doing that,
do you want to go first?
While you're doing that, let's do yours first. While we're doing that, H's last week was J.K. Dobbins against Woody Marks. I did try and tell him at the time that I think J.K. Dobbins was injured. He said he hadn't seen any of that. Hopefully,
yes.
Hopefully he saw that before he made that decision. He had played Woody Marks, who was 18 for 44 yards and 1 for 7 through the air. So not a great game, but
better than a zero.
Definitely better than J.K. Dobbins was putting up. Who's yours, mate?
So mine is, and I want you to kind of stay unbiased.
I can't do
it. Because it's Kyren Williams, who is against the Bucks, or Chase Brown against the Pats. So the reason this is difficult is that there's no Ja'Marr Chase. The Bengals absolutely have to win this game. Something's got to give. We can't just spam T. Higgins. Obviously, Yoshi Vassi's there, Noah Fan. Maybe even Mitchell Tinsley will get a bit of work. But we won't have a chance in this game unless we give Brown a good spamming this week.
First off, are you winning this league? Because I've looked at all of we're in a lot of leagues, and I've looked at all of my lineups for this week, and not at any point have I got a problem like this. I would love to have a problem. If I've got Kyren and Chase Brown, they are both firmly in my lineup as probably my best 2 players. I'm missing so many players this week, and it's not even something I was aware of. I was aware of week 8 and I was aware of week 10. I didn't think week 12 would be an issue. But we've talked about Ja'Marr Chase and various other injuries and stuff. Drake London not helping. So, yeah, you must be doing pretty well in this league.
Well, I am. So this is in our JMD JTT Dynasty League, where I believe I am on top of the division. I am. I'm at 9-2. And my running backs are Jonathan Taylor, Jahmyr Gibbs, Kyren Williams, Quinshon Judkins, Ja'Cory Koski-Merritt, DeAndre Swift, Chase Brown, and Kimani Vidal, who I am done with. So I am pretty stacked at running back in this league, and I can play I can play 4 if I wanted to. If you don't want to play Superflex, I could put both of these in and get rid of either Baker Mayfield or Lamar Jackson, but I'm not going to do that.
No. Have you got a little tick? What are you, 9 and 3? 9 and 2?
9 and 2. Yeah, I've got a little tick.
You've got a little tick. You're in the playoffs. Congratulations.
Well done. Thank you very much.
Well done. Did you make the playoffs last year?
No, I missed out. I missed out by a game.
I come bouncing back.
Yeah, I had an absolute breaker in the last week of the season last year and didn't make it. So I've got Jonathan Taylor and Jahmyr Gibbs locked in. So I'm between Kyron or Chase Brown.
Okay. This is what I'm going to do. So my answer is Kyron Williams, obviously. So that's but I'll give you what H would have said. So the impartial man in it. So H would have said that because Ja'Marr Chase is out, they're going to have to use Chase Brown. I think the Patriots are a good side. I don't think they're a great side. I think when they played decent offenses, teams can put points up against them. You saw that with the Bucs the other week. I think Rachaad White, or just generally the Bucs had a pretty good game against the Patriots despite losing. So I think you will put up points, and as you've already pointed out, it can't all be T. Higgins. So I think H would tell you to go with Chase Brown. He'd be wrong, but that's what he said.
But then ultimately, it don't matter because I'm seeing the playoffs anyway.
Yeah, just gloating, just an opportunity to gloat, wasn't it?
Yeah. Who's yours, mate?
What did you have last week? So last week I had a choice between DK Metcalf against the Bengals or Keenan Allen at the Jags, and H told me to go with.
There's no right answer to this one.
Well, H told me to go with DK Metcalf, which was technically the right answer, but it was 9.9 versus 9.3, so it made very little difference. Keenan Allen had as bad a game as everybody else did for the Chargers, and apparently DK Metcalf isn't allowed to have good games anymore. So,
no. But while we're on the Chargers, and I was saying before how they are perpetual bottlers and they just can't seem to get anything right. Quentin Johnston is dead to me as well, by the way. 0 for 2. Not off 2. Did you see that somehow Trey Lance got 3 rushes?
They just benched Herbert at the end, I believe. And just went, this game's over, and brought Trey Lance on. And I was like, right.
No, 0 passing attempts.
Just 3 rushes.
3 rushes. I was like, right, is that what we're doing now? Things are that bad.
I reckon they've sent him on and gone, just protect the ball. And he's gone, okay, I won't throw it. I can't throw it and protect it at the same time.
Yeah.
Despite having one of the best receiver cores in the entire NFL. Right, so this week I am going with, my problem is, I've got David Montgomery, who should have a good game against the Giants, but has only scored in his last 4 weeks. In his last 5 games, he's got a high of 11 points. Like, it hasn't been a great year for Montgomery. And then on the flip side, I've got Rico Dowdle, who sort of had that massive couple of week breakout, and I just don't know if I can trust Rico Dowdle at the moment, because he had those massive weeks, and then Hubbard came back in, and then they tried to do a bit of a committee, and then decided that wasn't the way to go because Hubbard wasn't very good. And then since then, they've handed Dowdle the ball. He had a great game against the Packers, and in the last 2 games, he's got 15 points in both of them, to be fair, but he is averaging less than 3 yards a carry in the last 2 games against opposition that he should be doing a little bit better against. And he's at the 49ers this week, so he's got the potential to put. I can see a good game from both of them. Just can't work out which way to go.
Yeah, you're right about trust. Because you say you don't trust Rico Dowdle. It's impossible to trust David Montgomery. Since he's bye in week 8, he's had 38 touches, which is shockingly bad. Rico Dowdle has had 75 touches in the same amount of time. So Dowdle's getting double the workload that David Montgomery's getting. Montgomery's snap share is 40%, which is only down 1% from last year, but his production is such a disparity from the David Montgomery of last year to the David Montgomery of this year. And he just doesn't inspire confidence anymore. And I like him. Like, Monty's my boy. So although he's on the field as much as last year, his production has gone off a cliff. So it's more about matchups, isn't it, now? Because you say he's playing against the Giants. The Lions could get up a couple of scores, start running the ball more, and give Montgomery a bit more work. The Giants are the 4th worst team in the league against running backs, and they're giving up 20.4 points per game to them. So can the Lions get up enough to feed Monty a bit more against Jameis Winston?
This is it. I wonder whether the Montgomery thing is just game script a little bit. Like, so you take the game on Sunday, like all of the Lions highlights was Gibbs. Like, because they can't throw the ball because it's windy and Jared Goff doesn't do wind. So he's a proper dome. He's the most dome quarterback of all time. So they can't throw the ball. And I mean, if you're trying to get back into a game against a good defense, Gibbs is just a more electric player, isn't he? But if the Giants defense isn't the Eagles defense.
No, and this one is at the Lions, so it will be in the dome, which means less opportunity for Monty because Jared Goff will want to throw it. But you look at Chira's matchup, and he's against the Niners, much tougher D. Bryce Young this year has been pretty inconsistent.
Yeah,
he had a great game this weekend, really good game this weekend, but he's so up and down. I feel
like he likes playing the Falcons. I feel like he's had.
I think everyone does.
5 great games all time, and 3 of them have come against the Falcons. At least that's what it feels like.
Yeah.
Come on, pick a side, make a decision.
I'm going to go with Dowdle. I'm going to go with Dowdle because somehow the Panthers are. Well, that was 6-5 on the year.
Yeah.
And they were in a bad place when they were trusting Chuba Hubbard. Rico Dowdle has turned their season around almost single-handedly. And Bryce Young chipped in this week. Hopefully he can carry on. But I think the fact that they still utilise Dowdle in the passing game kind of takes the game script away. So even if the Niners do go up, Bryce Young, if he's going to wear it out, he's still got Dowdle on the field.
Yeah, okay. It's also Monday Night Football, so it gives me that extra 24 hours before he disappoints me. Whereas Montgomery might have already done it.
It's one of those. Hopefully, one of them gets injured during training this week, and this decision's made for you.
Although if I need 15 points going into Monday night and Montgomery's already scored 25 on my bench, that's not an enjoyable Monday, is it?
No.
Before we get to the end of the quarter, there's one other player I want to ask you about, and I've only got him in a couple of leagues, and I couldn't. There was no selection nightmare this week because, like I say, I looked at the leagues I've got him in, and I was like, "Were you playing him?" Because most of the leagues I've got problems in. I need to find somebody off the bench, and it's Justin Jefferson. I feel like Justin Jefferson is going to kill. He's got, like I say, I've got him in a couple of fantasy leagues, and I think he's going to kill both of them because I feel like he's undroppable because he's Justin Jefferson, but it's just not working, and he's losing his rag with it.
He is absolutely. His head is falling off big time. A great competitor. He's not getting the service. JJ McCarthy came back from injury, and he looked great in his first game. Got him a win, but then he has just completely dropped off.
It feels a lot like
if these leagues got trade deadlines. Have you passed the trade deadline?
Yeah,
you have. So you can't even see what you can get. You can't drop him.
Well, that's it.
You absolutely can't drop him, but you also can't play him. So you have to hold.
Yeah.
But then Jordan Addison's doing all right. Believe it or not.
He had a couple of drops at the weekend. He had at least one. They were. I mean, JJ McCarthy, I don't know. And then you look at their schedule later in the year and you go, oh, it could get better, but I'm just not sure he's good enough. Just it feels a lot like when Burrow went down a couple of years ago and you had would have been Browning come in and like he just wasn't doing it for Jamar Chase.
No.
So you had to keep playing Jamar Chase, but it's killing. The other just quickly before have we got time? Yeah, we've got 30 seconds. How you feel about Darnell Mooney this week?
Oh, well, we'll come on to him next quarter.
Okay, let's move on. Interesting. Ones to watch. I said to H last week that this is getting harder to do with every week that goes past because there's just at least 7 or 8 teams I don't want to watch at all at this point. So I think at quarterback, I'm starting to think this might be the worst the NFL's ever been at quarterback, in that there's about 5 or 6 elite players, one of whom is injured, and above and beyond that, the likes of Jared Goff and Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield are like in your second tier of quarterbacks. And I don't think I trust any of them when it really got to the crunch time. Anyway, my quarterback for this week that I'm watching or keeping an eye on is Mason Rudolph. Obviously, Rodgers is out. I don't know how long Rodgers is going to be out for.
No, he might not be. He might not be.
I thought he was out.
No, they've looked at it today. They said he doesn't need surgery. It's all about strapping it up because it's his left hand. So they're not that concerned. You don't need any surgery. So there is a chance that he plays this week.
Well, I was going to go with Mason Rudolph on the basis that, and I'm not really watching him. I'm just watching how many times he throws the ball to DK Metcalf because he's another one who I'm like, come on, man, show me something. Yeah. So if I can, I'm dropping DK Metcalf. But if not, maybe Mason Rudolph will have he likes to run around Christmas usually, doesn't he? So maybe maybe he'll have a run towards Christmas and throw the ball to DK Metcalf.
Yeah, or maybe down at Washington.
Yeah, possibly.
Just spam him. I didn't think you're right. I was looking at this and just looking at the matchups and the QBs that you don't want to watch at all. Like Davis Mills, Tyrod Taylor, Mason Rudolph.
It's terrible.
Maybe Joe Flacco now, Jameis Winston, JJ McCarthy. It's just not good. Like Cam Ward's not doing it. Jacoby Brissett. So the one I want to watch this week.
Whoa. Jacoby Brissett's doing it. Did you see he set an NFL record for the most completions in a game for the weekend?
He had 57
completions.
Unreal.
Unbelievable.
He's propped up by an elite tight end.
He is.
And 18 targets to Michael Wilson. But the QB I actually want to watch this week is your boy Dan Jones.
Okay.
Yeah, 8-2 Colts versus the 5-5 Chiefs. Chiefs on a hot streak, looking good. Daniel Jones coming off a bye. Can he do something special this week? Knock the Chiefs back, cause an upset, and put in a bigger claim for that bye.
It'd be interesting because I feel like when anybody's put him under pressure, he's started to panic a little bit recently. And I don't know whether the bye week will help him a little bit, but if anyone's going to put him under pressure, it's the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So
yeah,
we'll see.
This isn't a game where the Chiefs are not going to let Jonathan Taylor run all over them.
No, they'll shut him down.
And Andy Reid and the Chiefs are too clever for that. So Daniel Jones is going to have to do something.
He is the MVP, though, so he will find a way. So don't worry about Jonathan Taylor. I think your running back will be the same as mine, so I'm going to let you go.
I don't think it's going to be because I'm going with Saquon.
Oh, okay, it's miles away from mine then.
No, it was mainly from a frustration kind of point, where it's been a frustrating season to watch Saquon this year, and the Eagles in general, especially you've got AJ Brown, who said last week, "If you've got me in fantasy, drop me." So he's very, very annoyed.
He got more points than Devonta Smith this week. a lot
Well,
more
there is
points
that.
than Devonta Smith.
Well, the squeaky wheel gets the oil, doesn't it? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, as frustrating as it is, Saquon's still averaging 15.1 points per game, which he did get a 33-point week the other week, which has bummed that up. And he's playing against the Cowboys D that's allowing over 18 points a game. So if he's going to do it any week, this is the week he's going to do it. But I think it's going to be a really good game because the Cowboys are second in the division behind the Eagles. Cowboys are 4 and 5. Eagles are 8 and 2. Cowboys will be desperate to get a win. Eagles aren't scoring a lot of points. The Cowboys are. I think this is the makings of a belter.
Do you know what? I hope it is. And I hope for many reasons. I know people don't like the Cowboys, but I hope the Cowboys win just for an interest level in terms of the NFL. I don't think nobody needs the running off with the 1 seed and getting a home advantage and a week off and all that sort of stuff. Nobody needs that. So we could do with just knocking those back a couple of wins. And the Cowboys aren't catching in that division, but it'd be nice. It'd be nice to keep the Cowboys relevant for a few weeks. I've gone with Emmanuel Wilson just to see if Jacobs is out, which I'm going to say he's out, and you're going to tell me he's not out. So looks like Josh Jacobs is going to be out.
It's just a bruise. He's got a contusion on his knee. It's a bruise. Jacobs said he thinks he's going to be fine, but whether he actually is or not,
I think he might miss this week. And in which case, it'd be interesting to see whether Wilson gets most of the work, all the work, or whether with a week to prep, whether they start working somebody else in, because he's going to be at the top of a lot of people's waiver pickups this week, I think. So I've put a couple of requests in various leagues where I'm absolutely desperate for players this week with Emmanuel Wilson, because let's face it, he's only a couple. If Jacobs is going to be back in a couple of weeks, you won't see Emmanuel Wilson after that. But it could be a 1 week. It could be a 1 week play.
Yeah, completely agree. Like I've not managed to get my waivers done yet because Sleeper's had an absolute nightmare today. But Emmanuel Wilson is on my list of people to waiver in. As is the wide receiver that I've got, which is Darnell Mooney, who we previously mentioned in the last quarter. I think the return of Kirk Cousins.
He liked him last year.
And the absence of Drake London. I think it puts the spotlight on Darnell Mooney. Another divisional game against the Saints. Absolute must win for the Falcons. Nobody knows what the Falcons are anymore. And if they're going to get their season back on track or just heading in the right direction, I don't think they were ever on track to get back on track. I think if they're going to start heading in the right direction quickly, a big win against the Saints this week is a good way of doing that.
I think Raheem Morris could be in trouble. And because I was thinking this could be, I don't know what the record for head coaches sacks in the same season, but we've already lost 2. And I reckon by the end of it, we could be looking at 8 or 9. I think it's that bad. And I really think Raheem Morris, we've talked about Zach Taylor, he should be one of them. I think Raheem Morris could be gone because they went all in on Penix, or they went all in on Cousins, and then they went all in on Penix, and then they doubled down on Penix in the last draft, so they haven't got a first round pick. The Rams have got their first round pick next year, which is looking better and better all the time. Rams always comes up looking rosy for the Rams today. I think he could be in a lot of trouble. Morris, that's my thoughts on that. Mine's another guy that you like, Jacoby Myers. So I feel like he's getting slowly worked in, but the Jags need him, and the Jags, a little bit like the Panthers, are somehow still very relevant in the playoff push. Like they are right there, and I don't know how. They seem to come up with these performances where they just sort of take over teams, and you get to the end and you go, still don't think the Jags are very good, but somehow they've got a great record and they're well in the push for the playoffs. So I think with Brian Thomas, nobody really knows what's going on with Brian Thomas, and Travis Hunter being out. Parker Washington's done a good job, but it was a good trade, I think, bringing in Myers. But I think they're slowly starting to work him in. He had 5 catches on 6 targets for 64 yards this week. and or last week, and this week upcoming they are playing the Cardinals, who apparently just give up 40 odd points every week now. So they are giving up yards left, right, and center. So I think Jakobi Meyers. I mean, just to see if Jakobi Meyers can build on that and have a big
No,
week.
I like that. I like that. Well, while we're on the Jags, though, someone you might want to keep an eye on as well is Bashal Tuin.
Agreed.
He had a big workload this week. Still not as big as ETN's. ETN got 19 carries compared to Toothon's 15. ETN got 2 touchdowns, Tuin got 1. But the fact that they are moving to more of a committee and giving both running backs 15 plus carries is positive news. So if you're struggling on the waivers for running backs, Bashal Tuin could be one.
Agreed. While you set up your tight end, did you see that there are only 2 tight ends in all of history who have 5 or more catches for at least 50 yards and a touchdown in 5 straight games?
No, I did not see that.
One of them is Antonio Gates. He held the record on his own up until this weekend, when he was joined by another 85 in Trey McBride, who is on course to be the best tight end of all time.
Of all time. last year, that was Brad Bowers last year.
Nope,
so
never said it. I've always been a McBride guy.
Of course you have. I know that. And anyone that watches and listens will know that. But this week, there's a few tight ends.
Have you gone with Trey McBride?
I've not. That's too obvious. Noah Fant is one, with Ja'Marr Chase being suspended. Must-win game, which is going to be a season ender for the Bengals if they lose. Hunter Henry on the opposite side of the ball, playing against the worst D in the league in the Bengals. Dalton Schultz, who may end up in a shootout against the Bills, where Davis Mills targets the tight end. But the tight end I'm actually going to go with, and it's more of an outside shot than the others.
Just quickly, there is no way that the Texans are capable of entering a shootout with anybody. So
no,
it's just not going to happen. Not going to happen. Their strength is on the other side of the ball.
Fair enough. I'm going to go with Mason Taylor. So it's a bit more obscure, a bit more niche. The Jets have announced that they're moving on to Tyrod Taylor from Justin Fields. So that's going to be more passing attempts in the game plan. Ravens D, it's improving. They're having the top 10 against tight ends, but they are leaking yards through the air. An increase in passing volume could make Taylor relevant. And we just don't know who the Jets are trusting at wide receiver 1. Like this week, A.D. Mitchell got 6 targets. John Mechie got 3. Rucker, who is another tight end, got 4. There was a very clear route for Mason Taylor to make a claim for being the number 1 guy on that Jets offense.
Yeah, I like that. A.D. Mitchell got 6 targets and did absolutely nothing with them. I watched that game. He didn't look like he'd played NFL before. I was like, what's he doing?
Did you see the targets though?
Yeah, there was a few he should have done better with. But Justin Fields is not the answer, is he? So
no, and we said this is either Justin Fields taking off or this is last season.
Yeah, and I think we know. I don't even think people will be looking at him as a backup option moving forward.
No.
But yeah, I'd be interested to see what Tyrod does with it. And I like Mason Taylor. I don't think he's not really sort of broke out and had like big games, but I think he's more than capable of getting done at the tight end position. So yeah, I like that. No H, but we'll mention he did say
Cam Little against Cardinals.
Cam Little, who holds the record for the longest field goal in NFL history, is H's outside shout for being a good kicker. So if you Cam Little's available in your league, go and get him. And then I am going with the already mentioned Detroit Lions this week. They are a great defensive unit, and I mean they average over 3 sacks a game. They put some really good games together, especially at home. They're coming off back-to-back 2-point games in fantasy, which is what makes me think that they might be available in quite a lot of fantasy leagues, because especially against the Eagles last week. I'm not sure many people would have been playing him against the Eagles, so they should be available. And this week they get Jameis Winston, who had 29 attempts against the Packers. He only threw one interception, but if you watch the game, something about the Packers don't want to take the ball away somehow. It's like they've been gifted the ball so many times and they just don't. They just drop it. They should have had 3 or 4, not 1. And I think the Lions are a little bit better of a unit than that. And I think this comes back to what we were saying about Montgomery potentially. I think the game could quickly get away from the Giants. And Jameis Winston's good answer to that is going to be to throw 40, 50-yard bombs to probably the Lions safeties. So I see a big game for the Detroit Lions. Right. Oh, we're on track this week. It's good to have you back, mate. we're all over the place without you. Right. Thursday night football. I thought the primetime games this weekend were a little bit better than they have been recently. Jets Patriots didn't live up to much. Having said that, how did Lions Eagles, to be honest?
Well, we had the shockingly boring international game though.
Yeah.
The international game, other than the Germany one, which was the Colts,
yeah,
all the international games have been terrible.
Yeah, they have. I think if you go back to the beginning of the season, Chargers Chiefs was all right, but
in Brazil,
Brazil,
yeah,
but since that, the 4 that we had in the UK, and then the one in Spain, couldn't agree more. It's all been poor, really poor.
Yeah.
Which some of it is the teams, some of it I think is just the travel, and I don't know, they just don't. Other than the Rams turned up and Jonathan Taylor turned up, and other than that, nobody. It's been pretty poor.
Do you think? It's only just occurred to me. Do you think that it's because of the partisan crowds? Teams get really up for it when they're playing in front of their own fans. They come over here, they're playing in front of teams that support teams that aren't even playing. And they just don't build momentum because they've not got the support. Because you're talking about 12th men being really important in
possibly
normal football. Do you think it makes a difference with international games where they don't have the following?
Possibly, but I don't know whether it's more. I don't know. Maybe that's part of it. Maybe it's the whole atmosphere of it. It's like just not. The one that surprised me the most was how bad the Jags were against the Rams. So I was at that game. My brother's a Rams fan, so we went down to watch it. Obviously, wanted the Rams to win, so he was happy. Stafford put on a show. But it was more the Jags didn't turn up, and which surprised me because they play at Wembley every year. So I thought the whole experience of traveling, they'll have that down to a T where they stay, the build up, the setup to it. You kind of just thought, I don't know, sometimes the Jags play really well in London, and I just feel like there's an element of because they're there every year. And I wonder whether that's a little bit with the other teams, whether they're just coming over once every 4 or 5 years and they don't really know what they're doing. They're all out of whack. Whereas, and maybe the crowd builds into that a little bit because, like you say, it's not when the Vikings were playing a home game, it's not a Vikings crowd, is it? So,
no. They're not getting pumped up from the crowd, so that the intensity drops a bit, the competitiveness drops a bit as well. And then we end up getting bang average games.
I just wonder whether there's not that many great teams in the NFL this year, especially offensive teams. Like a lot of there's not like 5 or 6 teams where you kind of go, actually, they're brilliant. Like they're brilliant to watch offensively. And if they are, they're not getting sent over to the UK or to Europe to play. I mean, Dolphins Commanders, I don't think, without Jaden Daniels, I don't think anybody was really expecting much from that game, but it definitely didn't even live up to those low standards. This week, Thursday night football could go, it could go any one of several ways. It's Bills at Texans. The Bills are a 6-point favourite, which sounds about right. I don't really know what to expect from the Bills because they've been a bit up and down this year.
Yeah, they have. But this is the time of year when things start getting serious and teams start turning it on. And I think last week was a big statement for the Bills against the Bucs, and what a game that was.
Yeah.
And just Josh Allen, 6 touchdowns. I think they're gonna take that game, and they're not gonna look back now. until the Chiefs beat them in the conference.
I had a really good week in fantasy this week, one of my better weeks this year. And one of the leagues I lost was the JMD Redraft A League. And my quarterback is Josh Allen. So I was like, how have
you lost that?
How have I managed to lose with Josh Allen at quarterback? But yeah, tune into the JMD update to find out more. Yeah, I managed to lose it. But yeah, it was a big game, and I wonder whether he's fine, like you say, whether they're coming. I thought what I did find interesting was apparently Keon Colburn was a healthy scratch. So,
okay.
By all accounts, there was rumors he was injured, but actually he wasn't injured. They just said he's got a lot of learning to do. So it's that trouble. Fancy the Bills? Or do you think H's Texans can pull it out?
No, I'm taking the Bills. I don't know whether they'll cover the 6 points, but because the Texans D is very good.
Yeah.
The Bills are struggling for receivers, but I do think the Bills will win.
Okay, cool. Then we've got 2 6:00 games. We've already talked about Colts. We've talked about both of them a little bit. Colts at Chiefs. Chiefs are a 3-point favorite. Unfortunately, I would be backing them to win that. I think they're gonna come out angry at 5-5 with the crowd behind them, and I'm not sure we defensively can hold Rashee Rice and Travis Kelce and Patrick Mahomes down enough to score enough points.
Yeah, I agree. That's all of that. I think the Chiefs will be close, but I do have the Chiefs. You both got momentum, but once the Chiefs get rolling, there's just no stopping them.
They need it. They need it as well.
They had the slow start. They eased into the season. They were 1-3. Everyone had a chance to run away from them, and now they're 5-5, and they are looking scary good. But like I say, I'm interested to see what Dan Jones does this game, because you need him to have one of his better games.
He needs to
hang with the Chiefs.
Yeah, he needs to just keep it clean this week. That's the important thing. Is like don't throw too many and don't give the ball away too many times. Like it's okay to throw it away. It's okay to go 3 and out. We'll be able to stop them. They'll stop us at times. We'll stop them at times. Like we don't have to try and turn it into a 40-point each shootout because we're never going to win that. They're always going to outscore us. So, and then Patriots at Bengals. Pats are an 8.5-point favorite, which I don't like at all. I don't see them being that much better than you, even without Ja'Marr Chase.
It depends. Is Ramondre Stevenson back this week?
Unconfirmed.
If he plays, they don't beat us by 8.5.
If it's just Henderson,
if it's just Travion Henderson, then I'm worried. I'm worried because Vrabel still loves playing Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, he does.
When he's got Travion Henderson, has he scored 3 touchdowns? 5 and 2.
2 games.
5 and 2, and he'll suddenly have touches taken away from him to give to the fumble machine is Ramondre Stevenson. So if Stevenson plays, we'll lose, but within 8.5. If he doesn't play, we'll lose, and they'll get over the 8.5.
There's the confidence from Ian in a nutshell. Sunday Night Football, Bucks at Rams. Rams are a 6.5-point favorite. What a game that should be.
6.5. That's a lot.
The Rams are motoring though, aren't they?
That is a lot
on all sides of the ball.
I know, but what the Bucks did with the Bills this week, I thought that would have been tighter. And it looks like Chris Godwin's back this week as well.
Oh, really? They'd be interesting because they ran all over the Bills.
And Bucky Irving is due to be back. So I think that's going to be closer than what the bookies are saying. I do still think the Rams.
Well,
I think 6.5's a lot.
Yeah, possibly. I just think the Rams are. I can't see the Bucks winning that. But You might be right. Might be a bit closer. And then Monday Night Football, it's Panthers at 49ers. 49ers are 6.5-point favourites as well. I don't know what to make of the Panthers. Like you already mentioned it. They're somehow, what are they, 6-5? It's like, how are they 6-5?
Yeah, how?
But they keep
Rico Dowdle.
because they have big they have good games, and then they have games where they just disappear. And I worry that if I get up for Monday Night Football, they'll just disappear. And this is one of those games where I'm like, if I stay up for this, they're gonna not show up. The 49ers will be 21 points up in the middle of the second quarter, and it'll be over. And if I go to bed and just try and watch the highlights the following morning, it'll be 33-32. And it'll be one of the best games of the year.
Yeah, I think the 49ers are going to destroy him. I think it might even be 21-0 in the middle of the second quarter, and Brian Robinson's getting a load of carries, and no one's fantasy relevant anymore other than Rico Dowdle.
Yes, Rico Dowdle's still fighting for the points I need. I do think that the 49ers have been an interesting team, but I think Brock Purdy being back, it was interesting while he was out. I've said interesting a lot tonight. While he was out, I thought everyone kind of got a bit excited about Mac Jones, but they just showed they were a lot better team at the weekend with Brock Purdy in there. When Brock Purdy's healthy, he's got a better relationship with George Kittle, which when your wide receivers are still banged up or not really doing it, makes all of the difference. And if they can get a trust Robert Saleh to coach up the defense, I know they've got injuries on that side of the ball, but if they can get McCaffrey and Kittle both going with Brock Purdy there slinging it around and Jennings having good games and Pearsall having good games, then I think they'll be dangerous going into January.
Yeah, I agree. And when's Ayuk coming back?
Possibly never.
Yeah.
I don't know. He got his money. I don't know whether he cares anymore.
No, but if they can get him back towards the end of the season, especially if they're going to playoffs, the 49ers could be scary.
Yeah, I think they're getting. It's funny because we all backed them to get to the Super Bowl, or at least we all backed them to win the division and have a good year, or have a good year. Maybe not all win the division.
But, I think I had Lions Bills,
but we all thought they'd have a good year because of their schedule. And I feel like because the Rams and the Seahawks have both been really good, now everyone's kind of not really paying much attention to the 49ers. I still expect them to win most of the games they've got left because their schedule's still a bit soft. And I think they'll sail into the playoffs without any issue. And yes, they're not going to win the division. They're not going to get the 1 seed or anything like that, like I thought they might, but they're going to give somebody a problem on wildcard weekend and possibly upset them.
Yeah, maybe.
I think. Right, on to the touchdown treble, which was a touchdown double last week, because obviously you weren't here and we didn't get one off you. But it doesn't matter because they would have won anyway. So H went for Davante Adams against the Seahawks, which I'm pretty confident Davante Adams only had 1 catch in that game, but it was for a touchdown.
It was a touchdown.
Yeah.
Just imagine you watching that going, no, not again.
The worst part about that is if you watch it, because H messaged me going, Davante Adams is getting my touchdown here, because Kyren Williams had something like a 47-yard run that got pulled down at the 2-yard line. He was almost in. And then I was like, just give it him back. Just give it him back. And I was like, nope. Matt Stafford's got all greedy and realised he can throw touchdowns from the 1-yard line instead. So Davante Adams got us a touchdown. On Devonta Smith, who I'd gone for, did not. Now, had I known how windy it was going to be and how terrible that game was going to turn into, maybe I wouldn't have backed that earlier in the week. But I'm not making excuses. It was a bad call. Who are you going with this week?
I am going with Hunter Henry. Easy game for any tight end playing against the Bengals.
Okay, I like it. H is going for a touchdown guarantee, basically, of Derrick Henry against the Browns. Is he playing the Browns? Not the Browns.
No,
the Browns
he's
playing the Jets.
Playing the Jets.
Derrick Henry against the Jets, which I looked at and I was like, he's got to be one of the shortest odds to score a touchdown in the entire NFL this week.
Yeah, I checked before. It's 1.3.
Yeah. Oh, right. It's gone in as low as that. So he's not exactly sticking his neck on the line, but that's all right. He's there as well. I am going for Kenneth Walker at the Titans. I think.
Oh, I like that.
And I think he got back into the end zone this week. He's not scored a lot of touchdowns, but I think the Seahawks are going to get that ground game working a little bit better. And not only that, I will guarantee you it will be a 20-yard touchdown run. 20 plus yard touchdown run. That's my prediction.
Right, okay.
So he's going to get in. He's going to get in from 20 yards out.
Okay. I like it.
And we're just about right on time. Anything to add before we wrap up?
No. It's much better with that age.
Good to have you back. Do you think you'll listen and hear that? Do you think he'll go all the way through?
Like most of our listeners, he probably turned off half an hour ago.
Yeah. Nobody gets to this point. That's why I shared those socials at the beginning. Don't need to do that at the end. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We will be back next week for all important week 13.